fall, roughly 1 million students played high school football in the United States. Of all of those players, only about 3,000 are going to move on and play at a major college program this fall. Most high schools, they won't have any players move on. Glacier Peak has 2, and they're with us right now. Spencer Pettit and Mo Fifita are joining us. The pride of the Glacier Peak Grizzlies. Spencer, you're heading off to the University of Nevada as a kicker, and Mo, you're going to play on the defensive line for the Air Force Academy. First of all, thank you guys both for coming on with us today, and let's talk a little bit about your high school career before we move on any further. Teammates at Glacier Peak for the last few years. What was that experience like?
It was awesome having Mo as a teammate. He's a great leader, and he shows a good example to the rest of the players.
Yeah, same goes for Spencer. We were both team captains our senior year. It was fun. Known each other for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys have played together since what, about the 7th grade?
Yeah.
Is that right? So is it a little different now that you're going to be moving on and going off to separate colleges? I should mention, by the way, colleges that are in the same conference, so you two could be playing against each other at some point.
Yeah, we talked about giving all the tickets for those games to our coaches and having them come watch us. So.
Yeah.
But let's talk a little bit about the experience from the recruiting standpoint. Was it something that you enjoyed? I know some players complain about it. It gets a little bit, there's a little bit too much pressure. What was that like for you? Talk a little bit about other schools that you might have considered and why you ultimately chose to go where you are.
I think at the beginning it's kind of fun when you're like a sophomore and junior, but towards the end, if you're not getting a bunch of like scholarships and whatnot, it gets a little stressful. And I mean, I was getting talked to by Washington State, Washington, Penn State, Eastern, and obviously Nevada, but ultimately it just comes down to what school you want to go to, and that's where you make your choice.
Well, and you made your choice. You're going to Nevada, Reno, and a very curious choice for me because I noticed one of the publications that I was looking at online, you were ranked as the number 8 kicker in the nation for the class of 2015. And I was looking at some of the schools that the other kickers that were in the top 10 chose to go to, and it really reads like a who's who of powerhouses in college football. It's USC, Florida State, Georgia, LSU, Oregon, Nebraska, and then there's Nevada, Reno.
Yeah. I mean,
what did that decision come down to?
when I went and took my official visit, the coaching staff was awesome. They've all been at major D1s, and then just the brotherhood of the football team was awesome, so I can't wait to get down there.
And I was joking with you a little bit before we started rolling the cameras. I was looking through one of the publications that's coming out for the 2015 season, and I noticed that the second team kicker, or the kicker that's projected to be the second best kicker in the conference, goes to Nevada. So really, and he's only a junior, you've got some competition right off the bat.
Yeah, it's an open competition, the coaches told me, so I mean, whatever happens in fall camp happens, but I mean, when he's gone, I'll get 3 years to start, so either way, it's fine.
You were over in Spokane in, 105-degree weather, wearing a bunch of padding and playing in the all-state football game. Talk about that experience a little bit. 2 field goals, by the way, congratulations.
Thank you.
And just in general, what that game was like and what the whole experience was for you, and also playing with a lot of Wesco football players.
Yeah, it was awesome. I mean, getting the win was cool, but I think throughout the week, getting to know those guys that you play against all year, especially the Wesco guys, because we've seen them the past 3 years, and just getting to know those guys and what their teams are like and how they are is just really cool. And I mean, on the football field, you would never think you liked them, but then you're with them for a week and you realize they're actually all cool guys. So
now, in that game, 2 minutes to go, the score was tied 13-13. 4th down, you guys are on about the 20-yard line, and I'm watching it online thinking, well, here comes Spencer. He's going to kick the winning field goal. And the coach decides to go for it. Were you a little bit upset? Did you want that opportunity?
I mean, it would have been fun to have the opportunity, but the offensive coordinator said it's the All-Star game. Why not go for it? And Coach Boehner, the Bothell head coach, he went up to me and said, I would have kicked it if it was my choice, but it was what it was, and we still won. So.
Now, Mo, you chose the Air Force Academy.
Yeah.
Not only a tough place to play football, but even tougher probably from a curriculum standpoint.
Yeah.
What factored into your decision to go to the Air Force?
It is hard there, and so I think that kind of drew me in because I like to challenge myself. Also, I really liked the coaching staff when I went and visited there in December. I didn't really feel any games like when Spencer was talking about the recruiting process. It does get stressful like your senior year, especially if you're not like things aren't happening for you like you'd like them to. So I really liked them. They were just plain and simple.
And the interesting thing about the Air Force Academy is that most players like Spencer are going to go off, and you're immediately going to jump right into fall football. You have to actually go through, is it a boot camp type of a situation?
Training.
Basic training. Talk about that a little bit.
It's hard, but I'll get through it. Everybody has to go through it together, so I guess we'll just build this up as a unit football team.
So that's not just football players,
Yeah,
that's everybody enrolling in
school.
the academy. So now do you immediately go from basic training right into football season?
Yeah, football starts the next day after it's over.
A little bit rough on you there then, huh?
Yeah, the grind never stops.
Sure, and now we're talking football right now, but really you both are multiple sport athletes. Spencer, you were on a soccer team for Glacier Peak that, won district 2 of the last 3 years, made the state playoffs, all-area soccer player. Talk a little bit about your soccer season and also maybe how it relates to your football skills and what that's done for you as a kicker.
Yeah, I mean, we had a really successful soccer team at GP, and I mean, kicking the soccer ball doesn't really change over to football as much. I mean, some of it does, but not too much. Not every soccer player can kick a football, and not every kicker can play soccer. So, but yeah, we had a lot of success. I mean, we never got to go to the state championship, but we still had a good run.
Now, Mo, you were a wrestler and a state champion. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So your sophomore year, you finished 4th in the state. Your junior year, you finished 3rd. What were the expectations for you personally coming into the season? Was it one of those things where it was state championship or nothing, or what were your expectations and what did you want from yourself?
Definitely state championship was my ultimate goal throughout all of high school. I just kind of required it of myself. I guess it was more of an expectation than a goal. I put a lot of off-season work in, so I just kind of dominated my way through the year and ultimately got what I wanted.
Now, I read an article where you mentioned that back when you started wrestling, I think it was in the 7th grade.
Yeah.
You claimed you weren't very good.
No, not at all.
That was only 5 years ago, and now you're a state champion.
Yeah.
Were you really that bad?
No, I was. There was a couple people that played football with me. They ended up all quitting, but they were just beating the crap out of me. I had no idea what I was doing. I actually ended up falling and hitting myself in the eye socket and fractured that. During a practice, I was just a huge goofball. Had no hand-eye coordination at all.
So was it just a matter of picking up the skills or working hard, all of the above? What did it take to get to be a state champion?
Definitely both. I had really great coaches supporting me the whole way. Just listened to them, and I think I grew into my own body a little bit. I was a little big when I was in 7th grade. So.
Now, you ended up wrestling Jackson Constant from Oak Harbor, also a Wesco wrestler, somebody who you'd seen before.
Yeah.
Did that take a little of the edge off, or maybe was there a little less pressure on you at the state championship meet, knowing that you were familiar with the wrestler you were going against?
In the finals, it took a little bit off, but it's still the final championship. I got to be ready for everything. So.
Sure. Now, the one thing that I want to talk to you both about too, because to me this is almost just as important as anything you do on the field. You both have high GPAs. Managing school with multiple sports isn't easy in this day and age, and both of you with great academic honors. What was that like? I mean, do you find yourself having to kind of sit down at night after you're tired, you're coming off of a big wrestling match, or you're coming off of a soccer game? How hard is it for you to refocus and to work on your studies?
Yeah, it's definitely tough. I mean, you got to take advantage of the hours you get, so during school, just put a lot more work in there, and because you got to keep a high GPA, so you get recruited over a kid with a bad GPA, and I mean, finding time when you're not playing sports is hard, but you got to do it.
Yeah, it gets hard at some points, but you get a lot of help from friends, family, teachers. You got to go in sometimes before class, after class to get a little extra help.
And I think people don't always realize that the GPA and the SAT scores, they really factor into how much these schools are going to look at you when you're trying to get into a college. Mo, you're going to the Air Force Academy, and nothing's easy there, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's...
yeah, it can be grueling at times, yeah.
And I know their expectations are fairly lofty in terms of their curriculum, right?
Yeah, their curriculum's pretty hard. They focus a lot on math and science, stuff like that. So one of the first questions I ask you is what's your GPA whenever you're getting recruited by anybody, and it's definitely good to have a confident answer.
So I'm curious now. I didn't ask you this earlier, but you're a 300-pound guy. You're going to the Air Force. When I think of Air Force, I think of planes.
Yeah.
You're a big fella. Are you going to fly one of those planes or what?
I don't think so. They have a lot of stuff for people to do, but I'm a little big to be a fighter pilot.
Sure.
Yeah.
So still up in the air as to what you want to do with the Air Force Academy, but
Yeah.
you're on your way.
Yeah.
Spencer, what about you? You're going to Nevada, Reno.
Yeah, I'm studying management information systems, so I mean, your degree can always change, but right now that's what I want to do, so I'll focus on that.
So these two guys are focused on not only getting their degrees, but playing football at the next level. I think the folks at Glacier Peak can be very proud of both of these gentlemen. They're doing an outstanding job, and we really appreciate you guys coming in here today. Spencer, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Mo,
Thank you.
best of luck to both of you, and hopefully we'll be in touch with you, and who knows, maybe next year we'll bring these guys back, find out what the first year of college was like for them.